Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to figure out this issue of rotting produce. One of the big problems is that population that is buying this beautifully polished plastic, long-lasting fruits and vegetables, they've never gone through this process of getting dirt under the fingernails or understanding this process of growing something from seed, having something ripen in front of them, having something decay very rapidly. If you understand that process of something going through a complete cycle and the seeds starting to germinate again and grow something again, then it makes a lot more sense that rotting is one of the biggest parts of growing food. Like our produce is, in a few days, we have bruises, we have marks, we have soft spots. They fall on the ground and they start to decay immediately. So this is such a difference compared to living in North America. And what I figured out is that the fact that the fruit and vegetables and produce is sent unripe is the saving grace of these companies that are selling this fruits and vegetables. The moment these tree tomatoes reach their peak, they're already in the process of rotting. So that is a natural process because the fruit is ripening. It is getting to a point where it is ready to fall off the tree, enter the soil, and start another tree again. That's the process of this rotting and growing again. Now, when these fruits and vegetables are sent from here unripe, they have this time period to get to North America, and then they have to be induced to start to ripen again. And what happens is, one of the big control mechanisms is removing oxygen. Oxygen is the culprit, the main culprit of these fruits and vegetables rotting. So there's nothing hindering these vegetables and fruits here from rotting because there's sufficient oxygen and moisture around and bacteria. Everything is here enabling these fruits and vegetables to rot. In a sterile environment with the gas removed, that is not so much of a possibility. The fruit has the ability to stay inside its skin, if it has skin, and remain in a state of stasis where nothing is happening. And it's interesting, the consumers, they would never buy an avocado with a blemish. They would never buy a pear with a bruise. It just doesn't happen. And that's the problem, is we're telling these producers and resellers or sellers that we want perfect produce. Perfect produce isn't necessarily the best thing you could buy. If you buy fruits and vegetables that look ratty, that look beaten up, that look like they fell off the back of a truck, they might not have gone through this process of sterilization and preservation. So they might be more nutrient rich. And that's the big problem, is all these processes of bringing food to cold climates, for example, it removes the element of the sun having enough time to turn these fruits into a perfect product full of energy, and it's gone through the complete ripening process. This stuff tastes totally different than anything you could buy in North America. That's the difference, is the taste and the energy value that this produce can give back to you. So this idea of having a growing season of 365 days makes all the difference in the world. These guys will produce a crop 2-3 times this year. There's this real perpetual energy that happens when something decays. And that is such a normal process, but we've been completely removed from that. To see decaying fruits and vegetables somewhere in a grocery store doesn't happen anymore, because if there's a blemish on the banana, it gets thrown out. So there is a real consumer misunderstanding of what rotting food really means, or what bruised fruit really means. This sensitivity towards getting riper and riper and decaying is completely missed in our food chain right now. The produce is artificially kept in such a way that it can be sold 6 months from now. That is a complete unnatural process. It's a complete unhealthy process. And these producers are very lucky that there's not somebody that comes along and measures the food value of these types of produce that have been kept alive forever. There's people that will specifically buy fruits and vegetables at certain locations because they know that these fruits and vegetables, they can have it in their fridge for another 2 months or another month. And that's the worst produce to buy. You need to buy stuff that is already on its way out. That means everything is in a state of giving you energy from eating this fruits and vegetables. That's the big mistake we make, is the marketplace is hunting for perfect looking plastic fruits and vegetables. Yeah, we're really fortunate here. We have this way of living that is pick, process, and eat in the same hour, or the same 5 hours or 6 hours. We always go into the garden, we pick what we need. If we're making a juice or an horchata, everything is picked and processed in 1/2 hour. And there's no describing how this produce and food and herbs and fruits, how this tastes. It is undescribable. And if you, for example, make a shake, a fruit shake, and you have the skin in there, and you have the seeds in there, and you have everything that is part of that fruit, when you put that in the blender, it changes your energy levels immediately. And why? It's because all the energy is trapped in that fruit that you're drinking immediately. So there's no real loss of it sitting around for 2 months or for a month or for 3 days. It's an instant gratification when you grind up this produce and drink it right away. There's nothing that can compare to that. So if you are thinking of living healthier, maybe the problem isn't, going to the gym and going for a walk or anything like that. It most likely is the food that you're taking in is so full of chemicals and so full of manipulations that are going to affect your health immensely. This idea of living off the land 365 days of the year and picking and using right away is probably the healthiest way to live. We have mountain spring water here. We have these vegetables that are ready everywhere. We stagger them, so we'll have carrots, we'll have cucumbers, and we'll have lettuce, and we'll have all these things in 10-day intervals, which gives us fresh vegetables for the whole year.